love the show. I love everything that's going on, and there's a lot of different elements and complications. Particularly, I wanted to talk about the relationship, what was going on with Jordan. There was
Yes.
emotional entanglement. There were some questions at the end where it really made it seem like the.
Oh, so sorry. Give me 1 second. So sorry. Okay, continue. I'm so sorry.
Okay. Seemed like the relationship may have come to an end. That stage and that phase may be over with. So, can you talk about the mindset right now where Simone is in regards to her relationship with Jordan and the complicated feelings?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think at the end of the day, college, it's an ebb and flow. You know what I mean? When you get to school, when you get that taste of independence and that taste of just something new and something different,
Mhm.
it kind of triggers something in you that, of course, is foreign that you don't really know. So it kind of makes it a little bit more enticing to kind of, dive a little bit deeper in terms of your interests. But at the end of the day, I think that Simone's overall expression of curiosity is normal. You know what I
Right.
mean? But there is a way to respectfully handle that based on the story and based on what we know Jordan and Simone's relationship to be. But the truth of the matter is, this happens in college. It happens when you're in that space of growth and experience. So I think it's just a telltale to that. I don't think anyone means any harm by, like, the experience and the circumstances, but I think what I do love most is that at least Simone and Jordan are open. They have open conversations. They're
Mm-hmm.
very transparent with each other because before lovers, they were friends. And Jordan has been there for Simone through the hardest of times, through the most difficult and the most trying of times. And I think that ultimately what we show very well is that she still honors him as her friend. You know what I mean? In her life. So I think that's the most valuable of the arc, is that their friendship is still very solid, even through the hard conversations.
Do you think Simone should be involved in any kind of romantic relationship at all?
Personally, I don't think so. Only because, again, this is such a pivotal time in every girl's life. When you go to college and you have that moment of self discovery, of course, like me at the age that I am now, I wasn't thinking this way when I first went to college, but like, who I am now and what I've experienced, I do believe that young girls should go into school with a clean and clear mind, clean and clear slate. Doesn't mean you can't be in a relationship, though. It just depends on what it's bringing to the table, what it's offering you. And a lot of times you have to discover what it is that you need, because what you need when you're in your early 20s is not what you needed in your teens, or you didn't even know that you would need them, or versus mid to late 20s. It's just different strokes, depending on your circumstance and your situation. But I think girls should go to college free as a bird so they can take time with themselves and discover what it is that they want, from career to major to friends, to
Right.
just yourself at the end of the day.
Do you feel that Simone is lacking something else in her life, not relationship wise, but
Mhm.
anything else, either a friendship void or just more of a family support?
No, I don't think she's really lacking anything. I think that she just needs to take time with herself and time with her environment and getting acclimated to that. I think that she has a beautiful tribe with her friends that she's building at Bringston. I think that she has a beautiful relationship with her aunt. And so far in the season where we are with Simone and her mother, even that has transitioned in a beautiful way to where she's, allowing her mother to be herself, but also setting her boundaries with who she is, with her mother and who she's becoming. So I don't think that there's a void. I don't think there's a void at all. I just think that there needs to be time granted towards self and towards growth and towards, yeah, just experience. You got to give it time. You have to give it time. So I think that's what she needs to do.
Do you feel that there will be some kind of either complication or confrontation between Jordan and Damien?
Um, do I think that there will, or do I think that there should?
Oh, should.
Hmm. I I don't think that there should be a confrontation necessarily, but I do believe in conversation. I believe in conversation before confrontation. You know what I mean? Is it necessary? Is it warranted? Not necessarily. They don't owe each other anything. You know what I mean? They don't owe each other anything. However, I think if there is a situation in even in life where a conversation feels earned, then have it. You know, but they're still young. It's like they're young. However, Jordan and Simone's saga, it's deeper than a lot have seen within the other relationships. You know, they were damn near married. So it's kind of like that young love to that degree. You know, there's a certain level of entitlement. You know what I mean?
Right.
But we'll see. We'll see what the writers decide to do.
So with that, should the same go for Layla and Simone?
Now, we don't know what's going on with Layla and Simone in terms of Jordan. Nothing has been said at all. So it's kind of like, I know that's what people want and that's what people are alluding to, which again, that's fun. That's messy. That's juicy. You know
Saw
what
him
I
light
mean?
up, like, because they had the conversation. He went into the phone and he kind of lit up when he was
Yeah,
on the phone.
right, right. And I think that's why when Simone was talking to Keisha and she was like, you know that female intuition when you feel something but you can't really put your finger on it.
Right.
But Keisha gave her good advice. Stop worrying about him and worry about yourself. Because at the end of the day, it's not about what you think someone is doing. How do you feel?
Right.
You know, so a lot of Simone's like inner workings that have her thinking certain things, it really just stems from herself. And it stems from that question that Keisha posed. Like, are you two still good enough to be in this relationship? Is this what you want? Like, you have to think about that for yourself. And again, it all goes back to self. That's why I feel like these years in college, you experience so much. You experience so much so to the point where it really does challenge that. It challenges those questions about who you are, who you want to be, or who you're becoming, you know, or who you're trying to change from, you know? So it's more important than a partner, in my opinion. The most important relationship is with yourself, first and foremost. But you don't learn that until, you know, you have these experiences. So it's kind of like, yeah, no one's owed anything. No one is owed anything in either situation. But everyone has to start from themselves first. But again, you don't know that until you know that, you know?
Mhm. So the relationship I want to talk about between Simone and Thea. Thea has been literally a cheerleader for her. Gave her the advice when she was having the panic attacks during the tournament that she lost. So I was wondering, in the episode we kind of just seen, Thea was almost assaulted, but was saved at the end of the day. Simone couldn't
Mhm.
make it because she was dealing with her own problems. When
Mhm.
that information is gonna, I hope, maybe relayed upon her about what happened with Thea, is there some sort of guilt? Will that be shown?
Well, one thing that I love about our series is that relationships are definitely a huge theme, whether it be romantic or platonic. The core of the show is family and tribe. So, without giving too much away, throughout the rest of the season, you will start to see a shift in how we communicate with each other, how we support each other, how we show up for each other. So, I think it's safe to say that over the course of the rest of the season, you will have examples of that, of transparency, of hard conversations, of realizations, of reflection that I think is very key to the core of the group.
Also, going off with the anxiety and the panic attacks, Simone is not
Mhm.
used to losing. She is starting to lose, and it's bringing out a different side to her. How will she
Mhm.
be able to balance what is natural? You're not going to win everything in the world.
Yeah. I think with that, it's all about experience. You know what I mean? Like you don't know how strong you are until you are in, you know, a space of battle. You know what I mean? Um, and I think that it's gonna take just moments like that where she has to find ways to combat things on her own. Because college is scary for that reason. I remember I was so excited. I was on the plane and I was like, yes, like I'm about to be an adult. My mom's about to leave. And the second my mom left, it was like maybe a week of fun. And then after that, it really started to set in like, I'm an adult. I can make my decisions. I determine if I go to class. I determine how to pay my bills. Like me. And there is a level of anxiety and stress and worry and fear that you will have because of that responsibility. I mean, if you've never had it before, you know what I
Mhm.
mean? It's like giving a baby with no teeth steak. They don't know how to eat that. They don't know how to do that. You know what I mean? So it's kind of just one of those things where the more you're able to work at something or the more that you're able to experience and tackle something, you kind of just find different ways to, you know, to
Mhm.
honor it and to go about it. So I think it's just a matter of, like Thea said, you have to find your way to get in your zone. What does that look like? What does that mean? Because what works for me does not work for you or the next person, you know? So
Right.
I think it's just about experience and giving yourself that shot and that chance
Right.
to not be okay, to become okay, you know?
No, it makes completely great sense to me. One of the things
Mhm.
also the episode or the series in general touches upon is the relationship between Simone and her aunt. You know, she's
Mhm.
kind of the reason why she is there, and now her aunt is resigning, even though it's kind of like a blackmail situation. She really didn't do
Mhm.
anything wrong. So I
Right.
was wondering, will now Simone be on the case to clear her aunt's name?
Mm. I think from seasons 2 on to Homecoming, Simone has always shown that she cares about her people. You know what I mean? So her aunt Amara is not just an inspiration, but just a source of truth and value in her life, who she is as a person, who she is as a daughter, who she is as a niece, a friend. Um, and I think it's just Simone's nature to want to, I want to help. I want to be there for you. So I think that Simone is going to try to do whatever that she can to support her auntie,
Right,
in terms of truly just pouring into her value versus her not working at Bringston anymore. Because
right.
it's more so about the person before the opportunity, even though the opportunity does affect the person. You know what I mean? So I think that we'll get examples of Simone's just love and support for her aunt and who she is as a person.
That distract her in her for school.
Simone,
Simone, I mean.
I think everything distracts Simone. Simone got a lot going on. She has a lot going on. She got tennis, she's still a mother at the end of the day, you know what I
Mhm.
mean? She's a student, she's a friend, she's a daughter. And again, she has to focus on herself. So I think it's very easy, especially freshman year. It's very easy to be distracted. I know me freshman year, I was all over the place. All over the place, so much so that I had to take another year of school. So I graduated in 5 years and not four. But again,
Right.
I had to experience that. I had to go through that to learn how to, navigate being an adult, making certain decisions.
With her aunt no longer working at the school, will
Mhm.
that change how Simone goes about will that affect her anyway when it comes to how she goes about her day, or either with school in general? Will she now have a negative attitude towards the school?
I think the thing with Simone and her relationship with her aunt is that her aunt pours into her so much so that she wouldn't expect anything less of her niece than excellence, no matter what the circumstance situation is. So I would not say a definite answer to that because at the end of the day, Simone is still going to go through what she's going to go through with or without this circumstance for her aunt because this is her experience. You know what I mean? At Bringston. Um, but of course, ultimately, when someone's hurting that you love, it does affect you to a degree, even if
Right.
it's minor, you know. But Amara, the way that they have written this character, she's so regal, she's so honorable, she's so inspirational, and she's also one of those people that's like, I can't let anyone down. And I think that's why Simone has that energy and attitude as well. I can't let anyone down, which is why she goes a little overboard sometimes with her help and overcompensating with her love and support. But yeah, I think Amara wouldn't have that. So there's no way that there's even room for that.
The Simone from episode 1 to now season 9 is vastly different. What would you, as an outsider looking in, say you're most proudly to have portrayed and to see that shift?
I'm I'm proud of the fact that we have a black female lead on
Mhm.
a predominantly white network. telling stories at a place that exists, telling stories about celebrating Black athletes and female athleticism. Um, and I'm grateful to have an all Black cast. 1 through 9 is all Black from different walks of life. We've gone to HBCUs, we've lived and experienced and gave breath to the stories that we're telling and trying to tell. And we can't tell every story, you know, but the simple fact that we are able to have this opportunity, I'm grateful for that. And I hope that people really do see that. Are there things we can talk about? Absolutely. Do we hope to have more time to talk about it? Absolutely. Do we care about what our fans think? Absolutely. Do we want to continue telling stories that people identify with? Absolutely. So I think the point is just I'm grateful to be in this position, and I really look forward to doing it again. Still waiting to hear back about a season 2, but the people love it. The community is really reaching for it and wanting to support it. So I just hope that we get another chance to, you know, continue telling these stories and making people happy.
The big tagline for the next episode is how do you move on? So regarding Simone, you could say Jordan is a question mark. What's going on with Adamara is a question mark. How does she move on from those phases into who she is supposed to become?
Mm-hmm. You just got to live and breathe through it. I don't believe in going around stuff. I don't believe in not, you know, facing certain things.
Mhm.
Me, Geffri, I don't believe in that. But I think that what Simone is going to be pushed to do is questioning, finding that answer. How do I move on? Because again, it looks different for Keisha. It looks different for Nathaniel. It looks different for Coach Marcus. It looks different from Damon Sims. It looks different from JR, you know? So how does she do that? Knowing all that she's experienced prior to college, prior to this moment, prior to her decision to give up tennis, prior to her choice to go back to tennis, like how do you tackle the ebbs and flows that you cannot control? Or how do you face the ones that you can? So I think it's just a matter of, again, going through it, living and breathing through any and all that's thrown at you, because that's how you grow. That's how you're able to be shaped and, again, just give back and continue to cultivate and perpetuate just experiences in life and conversations and, you know,
Right.
just in the transition.
If Simone could talk to her daughter and give her either piece of advice from what her journey has been, what would you say? What would you think she would say to her? Would rather be, the proudest or the lowest moment?
Mm, I would say the proudest moment would be choosing to have her child in a home that is full of love, filled with, yeah, love, kindness, protection. Because giving up your child, I personally don't have an experience with that. I have friends who are adopted or were adopted. But my personal story, I do not have experience with that. But I can only imagine the decision making with that. And everyone's reasons are their reasons,
Mhm.
right, wrong, or indifferent. Everyone has a choice and everyone is able to honor their choice. But I believe in Simone's case, she made the choice because she felt it was the right thing to do. And the simple fact that she chose to stay in Shay's life, I think, is a beautiful story that many don't really get to talk about or see. I know I haven't.
Right.
I haven't seen a story like that about, you know, a mother giving up her child for adoption, but still staying in the child's life to, you know, still be a part of it, which I think is a beautiful arc for Simone. It was one of my favorite arcs, actually. So I think she would be proud to say that I did what I had to do so my child could have the best life, period. And I think when it comes to her lowest moment or moments, because you have more than one,
Right.
um, I think that your lowest moments don't define you. It's about how you rise above it.
Very much. And kind of lastly, what I was wondering with the relationship between Jordan and Simone, do you feel that Jordan is ready to let go?
Mm. I feel like letting go, the fear comes from comfort and familiarity. We don't like being in spaces that we don't know with people we don't know because it's unsure and it requires a certain amount of work. A lot of times when people are in long-term relationships and they have to go into a new one, they're like, oh, I don't want to do the work. I don't want to get to know someone all over again. I don't want to get my heart broken again. You know, we don't want to face the experience that comes with, you know, the obligation or the task or the moment, you know. So I don't know if I would say he's afraid to let go. Um, but I just know it won't be comfortable. And who wants to be uncomfortable, you know?
But they have
But
that foundation, so that's good though.
yeah,
It
yeah,
could
they
get
do.
really ugly, but it's that foundation of
And
friendship
that's what I'm
first.
saying. At the end of the day, I think respect will always be there no matter what happens with their relationship, no matter what decision they come to. Because again, it's life. It is what it is. But if my favorite quote is look for the dream that keeps coming back because it's your destiny. Like that's my favorite quote because it's true. If it's yours, and you're not gonna have to question that. You know, it'll come back around when it comes back around. It could be 10 years, 10 minutes. What's yours is yours, you know. But you can't be afraid. You can't be afraid to let go. You can't be afraid of that because then you'll be stuck and then you won't grow at all, you
Right.
know. So
I
yeah.
Lastly though, I was wondering, coming back to tennis, does
Mhm.
Simone feel completely fulfilled now? Or is she wants more from it?
I think it's a process. I think
Mhm.
she wants more, like lots more because she's redefining herself with this sport. You know,
Right.
at first when she played tennis, it was because her mom wanted her to do it and she was so good at it at such a young age. But now she's choosing her and she's choosing tennis for herself. So to be in a space where you're choosing yourself and then choosing something for yourself, it hits different, you know? It hits way different. So I think that for her, that moment of this is for me, it hits different.
Okay. Thank you so much for speaking with me.
Absolutely.
I
Thank
love the show. I love your portrayal. Thank you.
Thank you. I really appreciate it. And I hope you have a great day. And thanks again for this. It was great.
No
Great
problem.
questions.
Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome. Have a good day.
You too.
Thank you. Bye bye.